Right, so if you've clicked this link, it's because you'd like a little bit of help with question number B. Now, I've just realized for question A that I forgot the last step where you need to divide by 2. So when we find the area of a triangle, we need to multiply the base by the height and then divide by 2. Now, I found that for the last one, if you've watched it, however, I forgot to divide by 2. So if you realize my mistake, fantastic. If you didn't, can you go back and divide your answer by 2? Because that's following our formula for finding the area of a triangle. So before I do my first part of this process, before I multiply by my length by my width, or my base times my height, I need to convert these two different measurements so that they're the same units. So here I've got millimeters and here I've got centimeters. Now it's up to you which way you would like to do it. However, for me, I think it's going to be a bit easier if I convert to millimeters. So for every 1 centimeter, I have 10 millimeters. So I'm going to multiply 38.6 by 10, because I'm converting from centimeters to millimeters. All right, when I multiply by 10, all my place values get shifted up by 1. And I know that because there's 1 0 in 10. So that 10th turns into a 1, that 1 turns into a tens, and that tens turns into a hundreds. So instead of writing 38.6 centimeters, I can say I've got 386 millimeters. All right, that is the first little thing done. Now I can start the first step of finding the area of the triangle, which is multiplying the base by the height. So once again, I'm going to write this out. It's always easier in math to solve something if you write it out and if you write it out clearly. So I'm going to write it out as clearly as I can. 450 multiplied by 386. And I'm trying to take care to make sure that my numbers are lined up in their place values once again. Now I'm multiplying by millimeters. I'm just going to write a little reminder for myself so at the end I don't forget. All right, so when I'm multiplying large numbers, I need to multiply them row at a time and number at a time. So I'm first going to multiply my ones here by the ones on the top row, the tens on the top row, and the hundreds. Then my tens here by the ones, the tens, the hundreds. Then my 3 here by the ones, the tens, the hundreds. So step number 1, 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. So I write my 0 and I carry my 3. 6 times 4 is 24, plus my 3 is 27. All right, my next step is to multiply the next number along in my bottom row. 8 times 0, actually, before I even do that, I need to write my 0 because I'm multiplying by tens. So I'm putting the 0 here to hold the place value. All right, 8 by 0 is 0. 8 by 5 is 40. So I write my 4 down here, my 0 down here, and I'm going to write my 4 up here because I'm carrying my 4. 4 times 4, actually, let me rub that out so it's a bit clearer. 8 times 4 is 32, plus my 4 is 36. All right, those are my first 2 numbers done. Now I'm moving on to my last number, my 300. So because I'm multiplying by 3 here, which is 300, I need to add my 2 zeros because when I multiply anything by 100, you get, it moves up 2 place values. So this is going to shift all my numbers up 2 place values. So 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry my 1. And 3 times 4 is 12, plus my 1 is 13. All right, my next step now is to add up all these numbers that I have. So I'm going to scroll down the page a bit so I have room for that. And now I'm going to start adding all my zeros. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus zeros is 7. 2 plus 6 plus 5, that's 11, that's 13. Carry my 1. 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7. And then I add my 1. So this is my answer in millimeters. And now I need to divide by 2. So I've got 1